The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time when Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into the harvest." And he called to him his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out and to heal every disease and every infirmity. The names of the 12 apostles are these: first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out, charging them, "Go nowhere among the Gentiles, and enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and preach as you go, saying, 'The kingdom of heaven is at hand.' Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out demons. You receive without pay, give without pay." The Gospel of the Lord. When we look at the first reading and the Gospel, we realize the two are similar in the sense that it's about choosing of the particular tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel as God's people. Then in the Gospel, he chooses the apostles as his people. Let's hang around the first reading for a start. We hear it says, Moses went to the mountain. The initiative from Moses to God. Despite that initiative, then it says, God called on Moses from the mountain. The aspect of being chosen, the aspect of mission. Quite often we are tempted to think that we only go to God when we are clean. How many of us are without sin today? How many of us came from Mass without having sinned at all? Just this morning, don't talk about yesterday, just this morning, we know what we did. But despite what we are, who we are, what we have done, we make the first initiative to go to God. But God perpetually calls up on us each day. First of all, by virtue of giving us another life. That is a calling to say, you need to serve me. By virtue of giving us strength so that we can do certain things within our limits. That is a charge to say, hey, I'm giving you this. Do something about what you just did when you woke up. Do something about the thing you failed to do yesterday. I'm giving you strength. That is the second calling, the first calling after our own initiative of thinking about God. The realization that we are not in the right path. That's the similarity of Moses going to God. There are times when we just feel guilty. I think a week ago I was telling somebody that I just feel guilty. I don't know what I've done or not done. But there was just that sense of guilt. And I couldn't put a finger on it. When I put a finger on something, I feel so happy. When you realize where you're not doing right, it's a source of joy for me, because then I can say, oh, it was this. God, I'm sorry. It's me again. Yes, I have sinned. The call of God is perpetual to God's chosen people. The question might be, who are the chosen people? Yes, in the gospel, it's the 12 apostles. Today, who are the chosen people? I don't know. Only God knows. But what does the church teach us? We are all chosen. We are amongst those that are called to do God's work. We are among those that are blessed to continue in the harvest of God. We are the laborers. Not the priests, not the pope, not the cardinals. We, the church of God. Some places I would tell them to say, when I was in Malawi, I was telling them to say, this is your school. Tomorrow I'll be away and I'll leave the buildings with you. I think those who built this chapel, I don't even know who built this chapel. I presume they were the missionaries at the time. Do you know? Do you have the history? Anybody? Did they go with the chapel? No. The chapel has remained to you, the people of God. The church belongs to the people of God. Some of these are offices that will leave one day. I'll retire at some point and go to, is it Garnet House? But I'll prefer Chula House in Zambia so that my nieces would come and visit me once in a while. I'll leave the church to active ministry. Somebody else will come to minister to the real church, which is the people of God. We are the chosen people. But the choice is not for fun. The choice is not a holiday or honeymoon. The choice is for the mission. In the first reading, they were told, you are chosen, and then obey me, in the first reading. In the gospel, we are chosen so as to heal the sick, to cast out demons. Who are the sick amongst us? How do we know who's sick in our community? Or someone might say, yes, that one is sick for some months. Yes, but at times, people can be sick without showing real sickness. Some of us can be spiritually sick. How do we minister to one another? How do we make our presence felt to the next person? Quite often we end on superficial level. Good morning, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Bye, see you next Sunday. And then we are calling each other same congregants, the Georgians. Let me call you the Georgians. Another Sunday comes, good morning, how are you? Fine. Lovely dress. Thank you. See you next Sunday. Are we being honest with one another? Are we being sincere? Not only just here, that is just an example. At our workplaces, at our family gatherings, there are some of our family members, the least you can do is just, hi, how are you? And you look aside. Those things happen. Those things, we do them. Are we being sincere with ourselves? Are we being true laborers in the vineyard of God? It's not always easy. We always gravitate towards those who make our lives easier. Teachers, your favorite students are those who behave well. Nurses, the favorite patients are those who don't run away from injections. I hate injections. I don't like them at all. Just give me tablets. If there are 100, I'll take them. Injections? No. Bankers, your favorite customer, those who ask few questions. Contractors or builders, your favorite customers are those who don't change the plan along the way. We always gravitate towards the person who makes your life easier. And those are, he's my friend, he's my buddy. But those who make our life difficult, impossible, not easy to handle, we don't want them. But those are the ones that Christ told the disciples to go to the lost sheep of the house of God. And in the second reading, it says he came for the lost. He died for the lost. Let's think in our world, what would be easy? To die for a street person on the road or to die for Bill Gates? I would definitely die for Bill Gates. Maybe he will sponsor my village and put electricity everywhere after I've died for him. Whom would you die for? A street person on the road. What will I gain from that? Who will hear that I died for a street person? We are called to those that are on the peripheries. But in our life today and every day, we want to be with those that have names. I've seen there's that dress normally people put at Gucci, amongst the youths especially. There's Gucci. I grew up in the time of Adidas and Nike. I don't know the labels these days, but there are all sorts of labels. At the end of the day, we realize that our children, it's not about the dressing. It's not about the quality. It's about the labels. The labels, they speak more. The phones, it's an iPhone. When it has no name like mine, it's nothing. But when you are receiving a call, it's the same call. It will come through whichever phone you have. There are those, the small ones, the old ones, they call Tumbuzi in Shona, Ekambuzi. Back home in Zambia, they call them Mutiankampeta because as you are trying to press, then your muscles grow. So they are named after that. We are in a world of labels. The labels, they drive our life. But as Christians, we are called to a life without naming. Can we contribute without you being known that you've done something? Can you visit the sick without taking a selfie? I was at the hospital today, and you post on the status. Can we clean around? There is this campaign of cleaning the country. Can we clean without informing the whole world that I spared my time from my busy schedule and today I'm doing a civic duty of cleaning the office? Can we do good deeds without announcing? Without putting a label? It's Oderick. Okay, it's Oderick, let's go. It's John. John. It's Peter. Peter. It's Mary. Yes, it's Mary. Let's go. Can we have a life of people who belong to God? The chosen people of God who are made holy by God. We don't become holy by our doing. We are made holy by God. The chosen of people of God who want to die for those on the peripheries. There are many ways of dying. For the sake of the little ones that are here, I'm not talking about physical death. Self-denial in one way or another is a way of dying. Doing away of something that you like the most so that the next person will also be comfortable in your presence. If Gucci makes the next person seated next to you uncomfortable, can you put on something different that won't make the person uncomfortable? That's the form of dying to ourselves so that the next person can have life. We are all chosen by God to be laborers. We are chosen to harvest, to contribute towards the harvest which is of God and not ours. And because of that, we are called to be present to all created beings, those in the center, but especially those in the periphery. We know how we make others feel or be in the periphery. We are called to have a change of heart to include those that are far from our happiness. Let us make them happy. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.